Blog Talk Radio.
You're my sunshine, you brighten my day. Cause you're all mine, so fine, yeah, you brighten.
Yeah, I've been around the world, played a lot of games. It's been the depth of my heart, you the one to blame. I'm looking deep into your eyes, I can see the future. Ain't no me without you, and that's the damn truth. You got me pouring out my heart in this fucking booth. And you're just like Kendrick with a sweet tooth. A little bit of you just wonders for the soul. The better half of me will never grow old.
You're my sunshine, you brighten my day. Cause you're all mine, so fine, yeah, you brighten my day.
A dark night like this, I really need you here. I'm lost without you, so come and save me, dear. My superwoman in my life, ain't no need to feel. The brightest thing in the world, let your little light shine, one of a kind. I'm really glad to say you're mine. You're the only one that keep the inner beast in line. My time will never be wasted with you. With you, it's always something to do.
You're my sunshine, you brighten my day. Cause you're all mine, so fine, yeah, you brighten my day.
Sunshine, you make everything better. Summer rays, ain't no more stormy weather. All mine, you the end to the story. Take it to church, make the people.
All right, you're listening to Show Talk with Angela Butler. Today, the interview is with Mr. Tommy Jenkins. He's from Homer, Louisiana. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
I'm doing good. You want to talk about federal contracts, among other things that are going on in Louisiana?
Yes, ma'am.
With the federal contracts and the discrimination that is going on there since Hurricane Katrina.
Yes, ma'am. It's actually happening all over the country. We perform federal contracts mainly for FEMA and HUD. After natural disasters, we go in, we clean the cities up. There are debris removal contracts in which all of these contracts are humanitarian efforts. So we've worked down in Puerto Rico. We worked Virgin Islands, North Carolina. We did Restore Louisiana. We worked City of Houston, cleanup, City of Miami. And I just came back from Fort Myers, Florida last year doing the cleanup on the beaches. And everywhere we go, it's all the same. You know, diversity, inclusion, supply diversity is not being implemented. Even if they set up the councils, which most of them do not have councils, and according to the Community Development Block Grant, Section 8 section of HUD guidelines, it states that they must have a board, a supply diversity board, in which they also must develop a diversity inclusion plan. So they must have a plan in place to include local participation, meaning under the Section 3 guideline of Section 8, there's a local residency guideline or a local residency law that says that you must include local small businesses and local individuals to participate as subcontractors and have employment opportunities. And these individuals must be low and very low income individuals, or they must be low and very low income businesses. Now, as a Section 3 means local participation. Wherever that money is going, that those group of individuals in that city or that town has the opportunity and the right to participate on these type of contracts in which they are not being included. They are not advertising the projects properly. They are not advertising the jobs. Therefore, the opportunities do not exist for these businesses. Now, it's not a black or white thing. It's a local thing. But what makes it black and white is the fact of the guidelines. When you say low and very low income individuals, the low and very low income individuals in America are the black and Hispanic community. So if you're not 51% owned by a low or very low income individual, it excludes you. If your employees, if 75% of your workforce, your employees, are not low and low income individuals, then you don't qualify. So the only businesses that actually would qualify under these guidelines are black and Hispanic. And because of this, it's not being implemented. They're not monitoring the program properly. They're not advertising the jobs. They are not appropriating the dollars properly. So because of the misappropriation of funding, then that makes it fraudulent, because they're receiving grant money from the federal government as a grantee, but they are not adhering to the guidelines in which they signed a legal binding agreement, that contract, as a grant recipient. They are not performing, so they are out of compliance for non-performance. And this is something that's going on around America, and we hear about helping small businesses grow, and is really a major problem because they're actually not growing. And I know everyone, talks about Black Lives Matter, but if Black Lives matter, then black business got to matter too. You can't exclude the black businesses.
And the black are being excluded. It's going on all over America, not just in Homer, Louisiana.
That is correct. Absolutely correct. And in order for anyone to make them adhere to the guidelines, you must address the city council and put them on notice of their incompetence, of where they are not performing their grant award or their grantee recipient award as a grantee. They're not performing their contract properly, and you have to give them accountability by filing a complaint against the city with the GAO. It's the General Accountability Office, and you have to go online and file that complaint with the General Accountability Office and give a detailed, descriptive version of how they have violated the guidelines in order for the GAO to investigate, in which if they find that they have violated, then the federal government could request those CBDG funding back. Even if the contracts have already been completed 2-3 years ago, the federal government can make the city reimburse that money, and any current contracts that have been awarded can be taken and be placed out.
All right, you're breaking up.
Can you hear me better now? It's probably
Yes,
the area I'm in.
All right, that's better.
Another problem we're having is when black businesses go to different organizations like accelerator program. I know here it's called Louisiana Accelerator. It used to be formerly known as Louisiana PTAC program. And then you have the SBDC, the Small Business Development Centers, and you have in Louisiana what is called SLEC, which would be the South Louisiana Economic Council. And then, of course, every city has their regional planning commission. So the federal government have approved programs that they fund, because Louisiana Accelerator is funded by the SBA. So you have these different federally funded programs that's supposed to help small businesses grow, but what they're actually doing when small black-owned businesses come in for help, and you tell them what it is you're trying to do, you give them your business idea, you give them your business model, you show them your business plan, then what they are doing, they are taking black business owners' idea and giving it to their counterparts, and then next thing you know, you watching TV or you reading the news and you're like, man, this company is doing the same thing that I was trying to do, but you didn't know that you've been undermined. See, this has been going on since slavery. See, it was illegal for a white man to sell a black man a house. It was called redlining. So because black people couldn't own things like a patent, black man couldn't put a patent in his name back then. So when they came up with different technologies and inventions, it was stolen from them. The white slave master incorporated under him, like the cotton gin. Now everybody know that's common sense. The slave owner had 1,000 slaves. Why do he need a cotton gin? He didn't. So it had to be somebody doing the work that say, you know what, this is too hard, it's taking too long, we're killing ourselves. Let's invent something that's going to help us be more efficient and help us do this work faster and better. And it was one of those slaves that came up with it, because I actually have a poster. It's a chart way from the 1800s when inventions were first developed and created by black people, and they were taken from them. It's a real history chart of all different type of technologies that black people created that we never got credit for. And that happens to this very day. We come up with great ideas. We present to governments like wind turbine projects. I gave a presentation to Senator Mary Landrieu back in 2014, and it was for an energy initiative in the Gulf of Mexico, in which I presented a plan to install hydro-powered turbines in the Gulf of Mexico, and I could create enough energy or enough power to power the entire United States. Now, Tommy Jenkins never received any recognition, credibility. I have emails for verifications that I met with Miss Laverne Solney, who was actually Miss Senator Mary Landrieu's constituent in New Orleans on Parger Street. I spoke with Miss Alicia Williams, who was actually Senator Mary Landrieu's contact at the White House. And in scheduling this meeting, and when I went in, I presented to Miss Laverne Solney, and I showed Miss Laverne the plan. And now I see the state of Louisiana since 2020. I have the newspaper articles in which they lied, and they said that this white organization, this white woman, came up with the idea, in which they didn't, because Lafayette Economic Development Authority, LEADER, assisted me with the development of the plans. And in the newspaper, it says that this white organization came up with the idea, that this other organization assisted them with the plans, and that's far from the truth, because Tommy Jenkins got all the emails to prove otherwise. That's my idea. I spoke with a young lady who used to babysit me as a child. She also used to be a city councilman, and now she was a advisory board committee to Governor John Bell Edwards, who is the ex-governor of Louisiana, because now we have Jeff Landry. But Governor John Bell Edwards' global climate task force, as well as another gentleman by the name of Mike, who is the head of the NAACP for the state of Louisiana. He also sits this board. So there are text messages and emails of me telling them about the technologies that we have through licensing agreements with the government, and that we implement. They were originally made for extraterrestrial missions and space exploration, as well as military applications. But we use these technologies that we get from NASA, the Navy, the Air Force, to use them here on Earth in order to make our world a better place to live for humanity. So we try to implement these new technologies into these projects, and to develop a more sustainable America. And when we present these things to municipalities or to the state, only thing we get is left out.
All you get is left out because they steal it from you.
Because they steal it from us. And this is happening now, and the state of Louisiana is trying to be quiet about the development of this project in the Gulf of Mexico. But if you Google it, you'll find it, right? They looking to put these turbines in the Gulf. But that project came from Tommy Jenkins. Tommy Jenkins told you about that in 2014. You didn't talk about it until 2020.
So what can you do about them still? Was it patent?
Well, the plan was, yes, the plan is copywritten. The plan is copywritten. It is my understanding that as a public official, official cannot circumvent you.
So you need an attorney. Yes, I would need an attorney, and see that's the other part. That's why I'm going with what I just. So these people know that small businesses, in particular black-owned businesses, they know that 90%, 95% of us, we don't have the infrastructure, meaning we don't have the personnel in-house
to represent us legally. Or we may not have additional funds to pay for an attorney. You know, you're talking anywhere from 20 to 100 grand. So we don't have that extra funding. And this is something that they play on because they know that this is an area that we are weak in when it comes to signing legal binding agreements, non-disclosures, implementing clauses of penalty fees of $1 million plus. You know, if they break that binding legal agreement, non-circumvention, things like this. They know 90% of us do not have these type of documents or do not even understand them. And those of us that do, that have them, that requires them to sign them, they still circumvent and break these legal binding agreements because they know the next step is you needing an attorney, a civil attorney that's going to cost you a lot of money in order to take them through litigation because litigations are expensive and they can last 3 to 5 years. And we don't have that kind of money to pay our bills at home, take care of ourselves and our families, take care of our business, and still pay for a lawyer. So they prey upon that, and blacks in America really have to be careful about going to these organizations and telling them your ideals because they are stealing them. And I have proof. I can prove it.
Also, you said something on the phone with me about the discrimination that the white men are doing with their wives.
Yeah, what happens is this. So when there are certifications, national certifications, like your MBE, which is called Minority Business Enterprise, that's through the National Supplier Minority Diversity Council. And then you have a DBE certification that's called Disadvantaged Business Enterprise. That can be obtained through the Department of Transportation, DOTD. And there are several others where you want to be a woman-owned business or a veteran-owned small business or what have you. And the veteran and the women-owned is through SBA, the veteran-owned through the Veterans Association, the VA. So what they do is large white-owned companies, they have what is called and known as shell companies. So it's a smaller company, a startup, that they put in their wife's name. They get it certified as a woman-owned business because a woman is just a minority. It could be any race. Any woman is considered a minority. So what they do is, instead of them giving our money directly in our hand, the whole Cold War game is not to let black people rise up, not to give them anything. They don't want us to have nothing, right? And that's obvious because look all the money they just gave to Ukraine. Look all the money they gave to the so-called Jews for the Holocaust. That's not really not Jews, they Germans. Because black people are the Jews. We are the real Jews, and the white people know this already. You can Google it, watch YouTube. You're gonna hear white people tell you, black people, you are the real Jews. You are the Hebrew Israelites. See, the problem is we got to know who we are and profess and claim who we are in order for us to receive anything. Because when you read, God told Peter, rise, Peter, kill and eat. To be on your knees asking God for something he already gave you. See, our bloodline come from Abraham. The white bloodline come from Esau. So as a son and direct descendant of Abraham, God already gave me the whole world. I ain't got to ask for nothing because it already belonged to me. So I'm not supposed to ask God for nothing. I'm supposed to command the right hand of God to give me what he already gave me. See, it's a difference. You got to know how to pray. You got to know what to ask for and how to receive. That's why God told Peter, rise, Peter, kill and eat. See, you got to stand up and receive now. So to keep them from excluding us and keep them from putting money directly in our pocket, what they do is they say, we're going to put your money in a program. We're going to put it in an educational program. Well, educational program means it's for all. So then they try to confuse you. And they say, oh, this a women's empowerment movement. And, of course, us being black people, we're going to rise to the occasion. We're going to stand in the front of the line. We don't sit at the back. We go to the front. So when we rise to the occasion, you know, we're going to make it powerful as a black women's empowerment movement. But that's really not what it's all about. It's all about the fact that all women are minorities. So they could set up these shell companies, and they could put it in their wife's name, and they could get their wives certified as a woman-owned business and a minority business enterprise, and now they can obtain contracts that was originally meant for us, and they could perform them. Because the white woman, she's not really in business. She's only obtaining this contract because they're going to sub it to the large white-owned company, which is her husband's company, that has all the financing, that has all the equipment, that has all the infrastructure. So they're taking all of our small business contracts that are considered set-asides for total small businesses, and they're actually being performed by large white-owned companies. And this is a tactic that the federal government is well aware of, but do not know how to rectify it. See, white people are very conniving. They're very manipulative. And you gotta watch. First of all, it's the art of war. Sun Tzu. Sun Tzu say, you got to know your opponent. My mama always told me you got to know the people that you're dealing with. And once you understand the people that you're dealing with, then you're going to know how to handle them. See, they done that to us with Willie Lynch. They called Willie Lynch in to break the slaves. So you got to really know the history, not this bullshit they telling you in school. You got to go look for yourself. That's why God said in the Bible, study to show thyself approved. See, you got to go seek and you shall find. You got to really understand that context. See, a lot of people read the Bible out of context because they read it like a book. It's not a book. You can't read it from front to back. That's not how it goes.
Yeah, Willie Lynch, the size of a person, of a human slave, the sex of a human slave, the age of a human slave, the skin color of a human slave, use it all against them. Keep them distrustful.
That's right. And that's what he did. He studied us before he even came. So when he got here, he already knew who we were and understood how to handle and deal with us. And that's what created where we at today. Because it actually created post-traumatic slave syndrome. It's like post-traumatic slave disorder, meaning this. Black people don't even know why they wear gold teeth in their mouth or diamonds in their mouth. I'm going to tell you why. Because back then, Willie Lynch told the slave masters, in order to identify your slave, you need to brand them. You need to mark them. So the slave masters put gold teeth in your mouth with symbols on them to identify his slaves. Lord have mercy. That's why they walk around with gold teeth and diamonds in their mouth. They don't even understand it. See, they don't understand, women don't understand why they all on social media twerking. Because the slave master had our ancestors performing for his company. They were sex slaves. That's why. See, it's in your DNA now. See? And that's why, you know, we supposed to been collecting reparation for slavery a long time ago, and still supposed to collect reparations. But since we see that that's a problem with receiving reparations, we no longer want reparations. Now we want equity. We want equity in this country because of why? Because we built a global economy. It started with, I'm about to tell you something about to blow your mind. It started with the cotton industry. So J.P. Morgan, and if you think I'm lying, Google it. J.P. Morgan Global Philanthropy Group, as their reparation for slavery, right now they have a lot of funding for community development projects. Because what happened was, and it's a black man that's running this program for J.P. Morgan. What happened was J.P. Morgan allowed white slave owners to use slaves as what is called human collateral. See, even to this day, you got human collateral, you got human capital. Certain jobs are considered human collateral. Educational jobs, police officers, firemen, ambulance workers, the hospital workers, those are considered human collateral. So J.P. Morgan allowed them to use the slaves as collateral to obtain more land for their farms as well as more seeds to grow more crops. Now, from the cotton industry spun off the steel industry. The steel industry created the global stock exchange, the world stock exchange as we know of today. So paying reparations, even if you gave $33 trillion, which would be something close to about $150,000 per person, every man, woman, and child, black man, woman, and child in America, that ain't enough. We need equity position in this country. Everything you done built, because really the truth of the matter is you built it on our land. We're indigenous to this country. You built it on our land. It's our soil. See, when you think back and you look at history, all the plates, the continents were once together. They separated. So when you talk about the 12 tribes of Egypt and the one that stayed behind and the ones that left, they left Egypt on feet walking. And they went out amongst the world and spread it out amongst the world because the continents were together. There was no separation of water. So we walked to America. And the continent separated, and then they came and hollered about they discovered. How you discover something when there was already people here? Christopher Columbus couldn't have discovered something that somebody else already found. See, it's all manipulation.
That is true.
It's all manipulation. It's all lies.
It's all lies. It's all manipulation. Yeah, they'll destroy a black person. They'll do everything they can to destroy a black person and use a black person.
That's right. That's right. And when they see you know better, you know the first thing they try to do to you? They try to act like you're crazy.
Yeah, they call you crazy.
That's right.
They see that you know what they're all about and what they're doing, they'll call you crazy.
Right. They try to put your name out there bad, like, oh, he crazy, he just be ranting and going on. No, but if you listen to what he's saying and you go research and you find it for yourself, then that means what he said was true. You just trying to discredit his credibility.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. That is true. They did it to me. All right, so what else would you like to say? I understand the federal contracts are discrimination. Are you going to contact the Civil Rights Division?
Oh, yes, ma'am, I am. And I'm actually pulling up my document now. If you give me one quick second here. My seatbelt got me. Right here. I want to read to you what a discrimination complaint entails in the Section 8 Civil Rights section of the Disaster Recovery Community Development Block Grantee Administrative Manual. So when you go to page 133 of 249, version 3.4, it says in section 3.0 of the Civil Rights Requirements, Laws, and Statutes, civil rights laws applicable to Louisiana disaster recovery community development block grant programs are set forth in the statutes and executive orders as follows. Section 3 of the Housing and Urban Development Act of 1968. To the greatest extent feasible, employment and other economic opportunities should be directed to low and very low income persons. And number 2, business concerns which provide economic opportunities to low and very low income persons. All right. Then you turn the page to page 135 of the same version 3.4. This is 4.4 filed under complaint. So it states that a complaint may not always refer to a violation of a particular civil right law or laws. A complaint should be reviewed as a civil rights complaint when the complaint, 1, indicates the belief that he or she has been denied opportunities, treated differently, etc. Number 2, states his or her race, ethnicity, gender, status as a handicapped person, or age. Any person or any specific class of person who believes that he or she has been subject to discrimination may file a complaint. A complaint may be filed by the complaint or a representative. Okay, right here. A Section 3 of the HUD Act of 1968 complaint process, the information provided on this form is given voluntarily and provides the basis for HUD's investigation of the complaint to determine if the allegations of non-compliance are valid. So that means this. Your city doesn't have a supply diversity board, then they don't have diversity inclusion. If they are receiving community development block grant funding to elevate homes, to renovate homes, whether that's through any type of HUD program and is using these federal funds, if they do not have this supply diversity plan in place along with the council, then you have been excluded, period. So that's any city in America that's receiving this money. If they have not structured in a such a way to meet what I just read, then they are out of compliance and they are entitled to give that money back. And I feel like this. I hate to hurt a whole city, but hey, we can't get nothing. Ain't nobody getting nothing. It's just what it is now. I mean, because I'm tired of not having and being the have-nots and being left out and got to struggle and scrape while we got to watch others become rich and create generational wealth and legacy wealth for their family while they keeping everybody else down, stepping on black people, keeping us from rising up so everything could go to them. I'm sick of that. So you know what? If we can't get nothing, ain't nobody getting nothing. We'll shut the whole country down.
Shut the whole country down. That's right.
Simple as that. They talk about a shutdown. They ain't seen what a shutdown really is. Let black people stop working. Pay attention. Black people drive your buses. Black people work in your restaurants. We cook your food. All right? So if we stop working, who's going to do it? You. You ain't been doing it, so I know you ain't going to do it now.
This stuff is South Florida. South Florida has a lot of Hispanics, Spanish people.
Once again, it goes back to what I said in the beginning. Your low and very low income individuals in America are black and Hispanic. That was the first thing I told you.
Yes, sir.
So this is the truth of what's happening around America. And I know because I see it. I travel around the country performing these federal projects, state projects. I see it everywhere. Everyone's, now I ain't going to say everybody because New Orleans is in compliance. They have a 35% goal supply diversity. Lake Charles, Louisiana, they are in the process of putting it together. I've been working with State Representative Wilford Carter, State Rep Carter. He actually passed a House bill through Congress in which it created economic development and supply diversity in North Lake Charles. And they're currently forming their Supply Diversity Council. And once they get their board, they're going to hire the consultant to make sure that the board adheres to the guidelines, and they're forming a supply diversity plan, right? So once he does that, then he's going to implement it on a local scale, because that's the other part that everyone's missing. In order for it to be retroactive in your local ordinance, then you need to implement it into the local law of your city. So that you got to make supply diversity a local diversity inclusion ordinance. So it got a lot of it's politics. It got a lot of laws go with it. And see, they know that we don't understand the political realm as business owners. So once one of us educate ourselves to it, is our responsibility to teach the rest. It's each one teach one until the student become the teacher. So my definition of success is this, Ms. Butler. If I could teach you what it is that I know, and you could do what I'm doing in Florida, like I'm doing in Louisiana, I'm already successful.
If you could teach me, I tried to get a federal grant. I tried with my show, but in my books and things, but it's a lot of paperwork. It's a lot of work.
It is, and that's the bureaucracy of it. They shadow you in paperwork. You're covered in paperwork. But it's really a simple process. You register SAM.gov, and when you register, you can register your business, you can register personally, or you can register both. You register SAM.gov, and then you go on grants.gov, and you'll find every grant the federal government got on grants.gov.
SAM.gov, how much does it cost?
Not a penny.
All right, SAM.gov. Okay. Yep. Now, the system's a little tricky because the government has migrated all the systems, ORCA, CCR, everything has been compiled into one
one website. SBA's Dynamic Small Business Search, which is called DSBS. All of these organizations is in one. So it's a little, complicated to navigate, but you could go to your Louisiana PTAC Center or your Accelerator or Small Business Development Center, because there's one at every university in every city and every state. You could go to them and register as a client, and they will assist you with that registration process.
Okay. Sounds that good.
That's right.
All right. Thank you for that information.
Yes, ma'am. No problem. And I have a lot of other government grant sites as well that I can enlighten you to. It's tons of them. A lot of major corporations are facilitating grants now. T-Mobile, Verizon, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the Rockefeller Foundation, J.P. Morgan's Global Philanthropy Group, Hello Alice. It's tons of them. It's progressive. All you got to do is just look for them. I promise you, they're out there, and they're giving out tons of money right now. That's why they're saying it's a shortage on labor. It's not a shortage on skilled labor in America, you see. But they want to implement these new robots. They have these new artificial intelligent robots that they actually want to take the place of man in the workforce. And they want you to stay home, and they're going to send you food, and you just stay home. And they're going to put the robots in the factories and everywhere throughout, America, and the robots are going to work for us. That's why you see people not in Walmarts. That's why the lanes are empty, because they're going to fill them with robots, right? So it's not a shortage on skilled and qualified labor, all right? It's just a implementation that they want to implement, right? And there are a lot of companies such as myself that perform these contracts all over the country. I completed like 20 government contracts already, 20. Now most black-owned businesses can't even obtain a federal contract from the government, and I've completed 20. So that means that I understand this process. I really know this process.
You understand the process, and you're good at what you do.
That's correct. And we have the workforce. We have a huge skilled workforce. I'm talking certified. People have licensing. They have certifications. They are skilled and qualified labor. But the problem is non-inclusion. They're not including us the way that they should, so we can obtain the big contract.
You have to be registered. You have to be registered as a business. You can't be a sole. You can't be a sole proprietor. You have to be registered as a business, though.
No, yes, you can. You can be a sole proprietor when you see. This is what people don't know about sole proprietorship. When you become a sole proprietor, all right, it's two ways you could be a sole proprietor. You could file under your Social Security number for your business, or you can obtain a separate EIN number. But whenever you create and form your sole proprietorship, you still have to register that sole proprietorship with the Secretary of State, just like you would do a LLC or INC. So it's still a registration. It's just your name, DBA, doing business as whatever company name you want. Instead of using your legal name, you use your DBA name, and it's the same way with my company. My company is a LLC, Universal Construction, right? But we do business as UC. So the full legal name is Universal Construction LLC, but doing business as UC or Universal Construction. You see? So I can use any title, right? So whenever you're a sole proprietorship, your company would be Angela Butler, DBA, whatever. So you still have to register that sole proprietorship.
With Sam.gov, I'm already registered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's about the structure. It's how you structure the company. It can be a sole proprietorship because we as people are a business. You're already considered a business, right? Just as a person, you are a fictitious business entity, according to the state, according to your Secretary of State, right? Because there's a such thing called a strawman. And that strawman name is not even your name.
Your name is those numbers at the bottom of your birth certificate. They're in red. That's your name. That's your legal name. It's like 6 numbers. See, everything in this world is numbers.
I understand what you're saying. Yes, I'm already registered with sam.gov. I don't know how to use it, though. I don't really know how to use it.
But it's a little tricky. You know, it takes some getting used to a little, you know. But once you get the hang of it, once you learn how to migrate through the system, it's very simple, you know. And once you register the first time, and, you know, you pretty much after that, when it's time for renewal on an annual basis, you could just go in and just, you know, click agree on everything and, you know, just keep all your information the same unless you move or, you know, something changes. Then, of course, you have to make those corrections. But other than that, if everything else, all your information stay the same, when it's time to renew, then you just click yes. So that's the problems that plague black business owners in America.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the problem that plague black business owners in America. But America is full of discrimination. America is full of tricks and things to keep black people from getting anything.
That's right.
So that's nothing new.
That's why I tell people all the time, you know, go and fight somebody else's wars. That's not what's up. That's not what's up, especially not for us. Because you pay attention to history, them people ain't never done us nothing. They never did us nothing. Every war we ever had, they sent us letters. Black man, go home. This is not your war. This is not your fight. They told you that in Vietnam, right? They told you that in Desert Storm 1, Desert Storm 2, Afghanistan. Y'all remember when the black U.S. soldier ran up in the tent with the hand grenade and blew him and some other soldiers up, right? Y'all do remember that, right? That's what that was about. The man was a Muslim. Yeah, everybody remember that. That's what that was about. Because it's never our fight. They never want to fight blacks because they already understand what's going on over here. They already know what we're going through. So they never want to fight us. We just go put ourselves out there fighting somebody else's fight. The same way we did with the Buffalo Soldiers, same way we did with the Tuskegee Airmen, right? What was never accepted, but because of our participation, we won. You see? But they always want to exclude you. So the best thing to do is black people sit back, let them fight. Let them go out there on their own. Don't go help them do nothing. Because we the real warriors. We the Zulus. We the real fighters. You got to think about it. It only took 30 people with Nat Turner. They slaughtered thousands of people. 30 black men killed thousands. So you just got to know who you are. It's already in us. We've been warriors. We've been soldiers. We born like that. So we don't need to be fighting somebody else's war, and in the end, you ain't going to give us nothing. We go over there and help you conquer a whole nation. You take all the people off, and you still ain't gave black folks nothing. So why I'm going to go over there and help you take somebody else's stuff and you ain't going to give me nothing? So I feel like this. If you go over there and fight and lose, hey, guess what? If the people come take everything out of America, I don't care because I ain't got shit anyway. See, nothing from nothing leaves nothing all over the world, even in Chinese arithmetic. So if you ain't got nothing and I ain't got nothing, we both ain't going to have nothing together. So why should I help you go get everything and you ain't going to give me nothing? You're going to be the only one with everything. That's crazy. That's insane.
Yeah, I'm registered with sam.gov. I'm definitely registered. Yeah, I'm registered.
But I can help you, I can help you get your profile together and, document, put your documents, because there are some documents that need to be uploaded, like capability statements and things like that. There are some additional documentation that the contracting officers can see that you don't think they can see, kind of like your past performances, your job completions. They could see all of these things.
Yeah.
Could you hold on for a second? Hold on 1 second, please.
Okay. So basically, the discrimination is severe. Discrimination is on every level. It's systemic. It's always been systemic. The discrimination.
Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry.
The discrimination is systemic. It's always been systemic. I don't see it changing. I don't see the discrimination changing. The discrimination is systemic. It's always been systemic. They've always did something they've always did. So, but you're trying to change it. You're saying it can be changed through legal ways.
Yeah, most definitely can, legally. And it's just as simple as implementing supply diversity and diversity inclusion into the local laws of every city, every state in America. It's already in the federal guidelines, but they're not complying. And when they're out of non-compliance, you got to turn them in. You got to turn them in because they're stealing from us. Because the jobs that's supposed to go to the small businesses, as subcontract opportunities, they're giving them to their friends, or they're lying about it and saying, "Oh yeah, we advertised it, but it was unresponsive. No one responded to our solicitation." Man, you put it in small print in the bottom of the newspaper in the quick order. Ain't nobody reading that. You see, so you're not even advertising in such a way to where it's noticeable. But then they go back and they lie in their paperwork and say it was unresponsive to keep from giving those contracts to the blacks. Or they go find a white-owned company and they say, hey, look, we're going to use you as a pass-through. We need a minority for this project. We're going to use your company. We're going to pay you $50,000 or $100,000, and we're going to perform the job and keep the rest. And they're like, okay. So now it excludes you because they just used a shell company that never was in business not one time, right? And there should be some type of test whenever you go to apply for these certifications, because that would tell you if this person is really in business or not. Because I've found that there's a lot of politicals that sit on city councils and on levy boards and things of this nature, and they can't even read a tape measure. Now, how in the hell you gonna be over a city infrastructure project for millions and billions of dollars, and you can't even tell me what a 16 is on the tape measure? You can't even show me a 30 seconds. Come on, man, that's insane. You can't possibly be over this project. You can't have nothing to say about this project or nothing to do with this project, and you can't even read a tape measure. That's crazy.
That's right, and you can't read a tape measure. Racism is systemic. It's always been systemic by white people. It doesn't seem like it's ever going to change, but I see that you are taking steps to fight this legally, and I hope it's implemented all across the country.
Well, I'm trying, and I have a team with me that's helping me do this. Because it's going to open up a lot of doors, and ultimately it's going to help everybody, because the minorities that could obtain the contracts, they won't be able to perform them by themselves because they won't have the financial or the technical capabilities to perform and complete. So they're going to have to reach out, and they're going to have to form teaming agreements and partnerships and joint ventures, and they're going to have to work with other companies, which is great, because now working with a larger company, right, even if it's white-owned or whoever, working with a larger company helps the smaller business to grow, because now they can learn from the largest company's technical support, and they can actually learn what to do. So in the future, they can really grow their business. They can hire employees. They can obtain the contracts and perform them because they have learned. But excluding them and trying to say, oh, yeah, we want small business participation. Then what is small business participation is? Because the levels are low. And that's why the government now are implementing these goals. Like the new goal for Department of Transportation is a 30.81% goal of all federal dollars, every federal contract that comes from DOTD on the Fed side, not the state side, has a 30.81% small business goal. That means every dollar, 30% or 30 cents off of every dollar must go to small business, period.
Okay. All right. So it's supposed to go to every small business, but that's not what's happening. That's not what's happening.
That's definitely not what's happening.
That's definitely not what's happening because my business is not making money. So I know that it's not what's happening.
That is correct.
I know it's not what's happening. All right. So is there anything else you would like to talk about, sir?
No, ma'am.
No, sir?
No, ma'am. Oh. Not currently. Not currently. I guess we could save it for another show. I have tons of enlightenment.
Yeah, maybe you could do a weekly show.
Yes, ma'am.
A weekly show where you come on and educate people.
Yes, ma'am. I can do it. And for all of my people in Louisiana and people that know me, I used to do the radio station with Q93 on Sunday mornings, Real Talk Radio. I went by the name of Knowledge. Now they have someone else that does their show that goes by the name of Knowledge, but that's not me.
Okay, well, I won't replace you. This is Show Talk with Angela Butler and also the Angela Butler Show and Queen of Show Talk with Angela Butler. So I'll go under 3 different names, Show Talk with Angela Butler, the Angela Butler Show, Queen of Show Talk with Angela Butler. So Queen of Show Talk, Angela Butler, not with Angela, but Queen of Show Talk, Angela Butler, the Queen of Show Talk, Angela Butler, and Show Talk with Angela Butler and the Angela Butler Show. So you're welcome to come on this show once a week. I don't have any money to pay you, but you're more than welcome to come on Show Talk with Angela Butler.
No, ma'am, I don't need any type of payment to enlighten my people and educate my people to the facts of what's going on, in our communities and what we need to do. Because, like I say, each one teach one until the student become the teacher. So if I could teach others and others could go out and do what I'm doing, then I'm already successful. I don't want already.
All right. Thank you for coming on Show Talk with Angela Butler. We'll do this again. Everyone, we're intending to do this again next Friday.
Yes, ma'am. It was great talking to you, and thank you for having me.
Hopefully we'll do this next Friday.
Have you been putting off that oil change? Your vehicle is one of your biggest investments. So drive into Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Stay in the comfort of your car and get a quality Valvoline oil change all in about 15 minutes. They also do an 18-point maintenance check to keep your car road ready. Quick, easy, and trusted. That's what you get at Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Go to VIOC.com for coupons and locations. That's Valvoline Instant Oil Change, VIOC.com.